Alright, Lanta, so today over on Bleach and Souls, we do finally have our next set of resurrectable characters, and in this case, it does seem like Caleb are capable of doing some good things in the game, because what we are seeing right now is the start of the arena characters getting their resurrectable upgrades. But with the way these banners did work, for those that weren't playing at this time back in 2021, is that these arena banners were one character banners. Can you believe it, right? Who is going to summon on a one character banner? But that was a thing, and it was a premium character designed to be used in the arena game mode, which at the time was still, really new. And the characters themselves were actually pretty good. One of the somewhat good things about the arena banner is that one, they were easy skips, because of course it's for arena. They weren't even like the best characters in arena, despite being designed for that game mode, but they were also premium. But the most important thing is that at the time, as a premium character, they had some pretty good skills. More specifically, Havoc, for example, and a good damage output. At the time, in 2021, the only time we really got premium characters was for mid-month, and mid-month characters were significantly less powerful when compared to end-of-month characters. Even though nowadays we haven't really received a premium banner in many months, even when we do, or when we receive mid-month characters, they more often than not get some really good skills. End-of-month characters are still better than mid-month. That's always been the case, it's never not been that. But at least the skill quality for mid-month characters has risen a lot nowadays, because sometimes it's actually not a bad idea to summon on mid-month banners. And normally the characters are pretty good. You didn't really get that back in 2021. So despite it not being like an exciting banner per se, because it was literally just one character, it was still cool to see some iconic, premium characters actually become somewhat end-of-month material. But what we are seeing here is that they are one character banners. So the big question going into this current time, as we were approaching the arena characters eventually getting their resurrectable upgrades, was, are they just going to group them together? And that's exactly what they are doing. So what we are here to look at today is Grimmjow is getting a resurrection, BYAKUYA, the second arena character, is getting a resurrection, and Kenpachi, the third arena character, is getting a resurrection. So they just grouped them all into one banner. So with that said, let's have a look at what these characters are going to be picking up. So one thing with Grimmjow that we are going to see here is that he does have a strong attack damage soul trait, but he does have recharge built into the character's kit. Now, what we could see here is two different things. They might lower his recharge, remove the 12% recharge skill, and then give him 10% recharge as a soul trait. Technically, that is going to be a little nerf in terms of him as a playable character, because he's going to lose 2% recharge, but it will make him a better Link. At the same time, though, we haven't seen a Link like this in a while. They could double down and maybe give him more damage at full stamina and just be a really good strong attack damage Link for those that do need it, when maybe you don't need the recharge because you're hitting so hard with a potential powerful Link like Grimmjow. With that, though, the character does have Berserker, Bruiser, Devastation, Frenzy, Havoc, Poise, Sprinter +2, and also Weaken Defense. And if we have a look, does he have any innate skills? He has one, so he's likely going to get 2 new innate skills here. Definitely going to pick up Frenzy +2. Would love to see the Berserker go up. Would love for him to see some type of damage where he gets more damage to enemies not afflicted by an element potentially. And we also have to keep in mind the character's arena skills, right? Because what he has in the arena skills, he's likely not going to pick up in his resurrection. So not really any major skills here, but since he has Long Stride as an arena skill, likely he is not going to pick up Long Stride in a resurrection. Although that in itself is kind of rare nowadays, to be fair, which is kind of fine because you can give it through bonus abilities. So with that said, having a look at Grimmjow's new resurrection, so what we can see here is that he does have the strong attack damage soul trait with now more damage at full stamina. It's an enhanced version, so it's 18%. Overall, that's a very good soul trait. Any power character in the context of Guild Quest, maybe even the most recent Yugam, right? If you know you're just doing so much damage that you don't need a recharge, then links like this are going to be good. Over the last 5 or so years in Brave Souls, as we have been getting resurrectable characters, there's always been a time where links like this are just really good. So definitely do like that soul trait. It does make sense. Scrolling down, he does have Sprinter +2, Guard Break, and Weaken Duration as innate skills. I guess that does make sense. They moved up the Sprinter +2 into their innate skills section and did give the character Guard Break. That was something he was lacking, something I didn't catch onto. And then we have a look at his other skills. He has Frenzy +2. His strong attack damage went up by 20%. Never mind, it stayed the exact same, unfortunately. Would have loved to have seen that go up, but I guess he is picking more damage at full stamina through these soul traits, and he does actually get what I suggested, more damage to enemies not afflicted by an ailment. Overall, a simple upgrade, but probably what he exactly needed, right? He got the Frenzy +2, his range stayed the exact same, that was expected not to change. He got more damage at full stamina, and then he did get a 50% damage boost to enemies not afflicted by an ailment, so in some cases that might not be too good. but I think it's fine. And technically, he also did get a damage upgrade through the guard break skill, as that now means he doesn't have to break guards. So, like always, when it comes to resurrectable characters, are you going to use him now that he resurrects? You can. Are you? That ultimately comes down to you. He's definitely going to be a good soul trait. I would say one of the best in the power attribute if you do need a soul trait like that. But he did get a good damage upgrade, so if you are looking to play with a, resurrected Grimmjow, because you can't do that yet in Soul Resonance, I guess now is a good time to do it. And maybe you can even take him into Senkamon, where, of course, this damage upgrade is definitely going to be noticeable. Next up, however, we have BYAKUYA. So BYAKUYA might see a very similar soul trait, right? If anything, maybe he is going to get more damage at full stamina, more strong attack damage in particular, so that can be a little bit higher. But at the same time, maybe he is going to double down on the lacerate damage and get more damage to lacerated enemies, right? Again, this was the trend at the time, that a lot of characters were getting strong attack damage so they could have recharge built into the character's kit. And when characters weren't getting any super high berserker, this was one of the ways to technically give them more strong attack damage. Other than that though, I mean, BYAKUYA is quite a mediocre character even on release. I remember before this character came out, there was a lot of speculation of him being super broken in Arena, but he ended up just being meh for the most part. But more damage to lacerated enemies. I guess I would like to see some type of berserker built into the character's kit. We're definitely going to see Frenzy +2. We're likely going to see guard break, because that's also something that he is lacking, and I think that's pretty much about it. Unless he gets something new, glad he would take it. Let's find out what he is going to get. So scrolling down, what we are seeing here is actually very interesting. So he actually does have 20% strong attack damage, but he has a 12% strong attack recharge soul trait. So they actually removed it from the skill section, put it into the soul trait, but this is the first time now seeing a recharge soul trait as an enhanced soul trait. Because remember, whenever a character gets strong attack damage as their initial soul trait and then a recharge for the second one, it's always 10%. But we have been seeing enhanced soul traits that give 2% more. So for the most part, BYAKUYA is now just a modern Link. I mean, EX skills now do exist, but a soul trait like this, 20% strong attack damage, 12% recharge, is only really ever seen on new characters that release with double soul trait. If anything though, this is going to be a good start for just resurrectable characters in general, because more often than not, especially for characters like this, you never really use links like this when the recharge is at 10%, because why would you? I'd rather have more recharge and less strong attack damage than more strong attack damage and less recharge. So that in itself is a good upgrade for the soul trait. Going down to the innate skills, he does get 30% more damage at full stamina. That in of itself does make sense, especially given the fact that he does have a barrier to technically protect him. He did actually pick up strong attack damage as a skill, so maybe it was a good thing that the, recharge got moved to the soul trait, because now he picked up 50% more strong attack damage, something that he did not have. He kept the Havoc, of course. He also now has Frenzy +2, and the damage to lacerated enemies has stayed the exact same. Overall, that is also another very good damage upgrade, right? 50% strong attack damage, 30% through the soul trait, and also Frenzy +2. Again, standard stuff, just simple upgrades. They're not doing anything super special besides what we saw in the soul trait. We're not seeing any unique new skills that we've never seen before, but solid upgrades nonetheless. And if anything, if you are still playing Arena, this does give them a second life in that game mode, right? Because then the damage output's going to be a little bit better. Although this was before the time characters had the start power item +2 skill. I think that started with Bruno, who came out after Kenpachi, I'm pretty sure. No, Aaroniero, so near the end of the year. So they're still kind of lacking skills that would make you usable in the current Arena meta. But still, these are good damage upgrades. Frenzy +2, more Berserker, good soul trait, more damage at full stamina. Can't really ask for anything better. And last but not least, let's have a look at Kenpachi. So, Kenpachi is the normal attack damage character of the banner. I remember, again, when this character came out, his damage output for normal attack damage was crazy high, to the point that if this character hit you once in Arena, you are absolutely dead. Fortunately, he wasn't that big of a problem unless he gets very close to you. So what we're seeing here is Flurry +1. He did have Last Ditch Survivor because that was the meta at the time. And the idea is that this character does want to be at low stamina. And then he also does have the 40% Bruiser with the normal attack damage at 20%. Scrolling down, I'm very curious to see what we're going to see here. Because again, this character has Flurry +1 through an Arena skill. So he's always had Flurry +2. Are they now going to give him Flurry +3 in Arena, and therefore have the Flurry +2 everywhere? Hopefully, because it'll be kind of sad to see this character not get Flurry +2 everywhere because he gets it in Arena. But yeah, more long reach would be nice to see, more Flurry. more bruiser, and I think that's really about it for a character like this. But in terms of the soul traits, normal attack damage at 20%, maybe more damage at low stamina, DR I guess wouldn't be too bad. Any of those two I guess would be good. So let's go ahead and see it. So that is interesting. So Kenpachi has damage inflicted at full stamina? He's a low stam character though. Really? Okay. I mean, that I'm taken back a bit. So it's a bit of a weird one. Maybe it doesn't make sense for the character, but it's still good to have nonetheless, right? If anything, this makes him a very good soul trait, right? We do lack damage at full stat, not too much, but it is actually an enhanced version, so that's really good for normal attack damage characters. Any speed one, for example, can definitely make use of that. Technically, it doesn't make sense because, again, he wants to be at low stamina, but it makes him a better soul trait, and that's the more important part. Wow, I never expected this character to get it, but I would really love to see a character get normal attack damage and a recharge as a soul trait for characters that want to use boost effects. So it'd be really cool to see that type of combination. It's something that we very rarely ever see. And now that we are seeing 12% recharge soul traits as the secondary soul trait, that'll be even better to pick up for some character in the future. Never know when that's going to happen though, because we haven't seen it in many, many years. So when it comes to the skills though, his normal attack damage actually went up to 80%. So a 40% normal attack damage increase, right? Really good there. Alongside that, damage inflicted at low stamina also got increased from 30 to 60%, and he also did get the Flurry plus 2, so that is kind of crazy, because now in Arena, this character is going to have Flurry plus 3 and like 100% Bruiser. And in Arena 2, to be fair, the character's always been good, because he has the Long Stride, which you want in Arena, right, if you are manually playing with the character. But normal attack damage characters like this are meant to be defensive. In a way, the idea is to stall out the enemies by giving this character DR, damage reduction. So having the Last Ditch, the Long Stride, and the Flurry plus 3 is actually kind of crazy for an Arena character. But also, glad to see that the character wasn't given, but also at the same time, most importantly, glad to see that the Flurry plus 2 wasn't held back on this character, despite being an Arena character, as he does pick it up through the Arena skills. So now he's just better in Arena, and especially better outside of Arena. And with that in mind too, I believe they did give him Weaken duration, because originally he only ever had Drain duration. I believe the idea was to use them against 6th Anniversary Aizen. So that Weaken duration is more so for him to potentially be used in guild quests. So with that said, that is the Resurrection badge for the month of March. That will be happening on the 13th. So just under 2 weeks from now. Overall, some very solid upgrades. Glad to see the Arena characters aren't being skipped over, because they definitely do deserve upgrades. And glad to see Kale just put 3 of them into one batch. That way we do get, you know, the usual amount. It would have been absolutely terrible if only one of them got resurrected at a time. They're all premium characters too, so if you do own them, likely you do if you've been playing for a while, that is going to be an extra 200 orbs to have for an upcoming banner, maybe this upcoming end of month. With that said, let me know what you like to think about the characters in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, and peace.